we're going to switch it up now and do something else as a check-in. These are check-in metaphors, so you get the idea.
Okay.
So John, this time, now, if I was working with younger students, I'd say if you were an animal, what kind of animal would you be? And just to go back, whether animal, if you're working with lower grades, you can also use this as part of your curriculum. But because we have a whole range of people, and animal simpler, I'm going to ask you, if you were an element of nature, what would you be based on how you're feeling right now? So an element of nature could be an animal, could be a tree, it could be an earthquake or a rainbow or anything else. So based on how you're feeling right now, show us with sound and movement the element of nature you feel like today. Are you ready?
Ready.
And great, I love this background you have there. That's great, I want to be there. And action. Great, thank you, very nice. So now, not only are you're gonna lead and we're gonna follow, but then we're gonna try to guess what it was you were doing, okay? So nobody say anything first. The idea is let's just do it, and then after that, input in chat what you think John was doing, what element of nature he was showing to express how he was feeling. So are we all ready? And John, one more time, action. Lovely, thank you. Okay, anybody want to put down there what you think John was doing?
The first guess is the ocean.
It was the ocean?
Totally, it was the waves of the ocean.
So same thing. If you were an element of nature, based on how you're feeling right now, with sound and movement, show us what element of nature you would be. So are you ready? Great, and action. You add some sound? Thank you. Okay, it takes a lot of courage. You've got all these people. Well, yes, thank you. All those hands, thank you. So this time you're going to lead and we're going to follow you. Okay, so everybody ready? And action. Wonderful. Anybody have any ideas of what she's doing? Put them in the chat. And
Oh, wow, we have the consensus. Is it an earthquake?
An earthquake. Well, now, and this brings up something. Thank you for being so vulnerable with that, Rosalia, because if you get a whole class full of earthquakes, maybe you have to stop your plan for the day and really deal with what's in the room. And that is also part of what this kind of work does. It lets you, as the teacher, counselor, facilitator, whomever you are, it lets you know what your students or whoever you're working with are coming in with. And if their people are feeling like that, then we need to deal with that. So thank you. I'm really glad that you brought that up. Thank you. Okay, so this is a little more abstract, and we need to push back from our screen a little bit so we can see more of each other. Kathy, based on how you're feeling right now, if you were a color, what color would you be? And no sound this time. Just do it with facial expressions, gestures, and movement, but no sound. Everybody watch carefully. Are you ready?
Sorry, I just want to clarify.
And you can get up out of your seat. You can do whatever you want. Action. She's doing it. Thank you. Very expressive. Thank you. Okay, everybody, we're going to follow Kathy this time. So on action, you lead and we'll follow. And action. Lovely. Ideas. What color was Kathy being?
Was it yellow?
Orange, and I was kind of thinking the sun, so it could be yellow or orange. So
what this is all about, you can, if you're standing, you can sit down, but I think everybody is sitting already. these are just a few examples of creative check-ins. I mean, there's a whole lot of other ones. For instance, I've had kids play the weather person that you see on the Weather Channel telling their weather. And this is so-and-so, and it was foggy this morning, but then a breeze came through and now the sun is shining and stuff like that. So they can have a lot of fun being the weather reporter. Also, a type of music you feel like, a type of ice cream. There's all manner of ways to express what we're going through in a creative way and in a way that lets you share with others. I hope you can see how it's an opportunity for us to get to know each other. Also, the mirror neurons. Mirror neurons, when we mirror somebody, we are activating the mirror neurons, and they are what activates empathy. So there's a lot of other things going on. Languaging, when I say you lead and we'll follow, we are telling every child or every person that you talk to, whether they catch it consciously or not, that they are a leader, that we're all followers and that they are a leader. So that's also really important to be aware of. That's all part of the social emotional arts that Ping's certificate program is showing us, is how much those words make a difference. So again, if you just do that at the beginning of your class, and you don't have to do it quite so long, or sometimes you can take a little more time, sometimes do a briefer one. It's just really helpful for us to read the field, and not have to guess.
So we have one hand up, Camille. Leslie, go ahead.
I just was thinking about how great this would be to do at our Zoom staff meetings now that we all have to be little chiclets on a screen. Just a quick way to actually connect with each other would be really nice.
Yes, it's great for adults. It's a great thing to do for a staff meeting, a fun way to just get started. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up, Leslie. This one I call Fortunately, Unfortunately. And also, Jen sent the directions to everybody. So you should have a handout that will have directions for Fortunately, Unfortunately. We're going to explain it, but keep them with you, because you're going to be sent into breakout rooms, and in the breakout room, it'll help you to, if you get, a little lost, it's right there. So this is a storytelling game, and one person will begin a story with fortunately or unfortunately. And then when they finish their statement, which could be 1 to 3 sentences long, the next person adds to the story. They build on it. But instead of, if I started with fortunately, they would say unfortunately. And then the next person would build on it saying fortunately. So we're still following the same story. So we're going to do a little demonstration for you, Jen and I. So I'm going to start. Fortunately, Daisy woke up to a beautiful sunny day. She ran to the window and looked out and said, "Oh my gosh, this is perfect day for my birthday, my 9th birthday."
Unfortunately, about an hour later, Daisy saw that there was a huge thunderhead cloud over her house. Suddenly, with a bolt of lightning, it began raining cats and dogs. Her mother said, "Oh no, what a mess for your birthday party."
Well, fortunately, Daisy loved cats and dogs, so she ran outside and played with them all. That would be the third person. Then the fourth person would say, unfortunately, and add another obstacle to the situation. And we go around the room. So the idea of this is you can choose to start with fortunately or unfortunately. If you think the ending is an ending you don't want, you can ask the next person in your circle to go from fortunately to unfortunately, or unfortunately to fortunately. The other thing that I'm going to do, I'm just going to read these directions because I think it'll help for you to get through it. Also, I'm sorry, if you have extra time, you could do a second story, and that time maybe you could choose a genre to do the story in. So there are a lot of different ways that you can tell the story. So someone in your group, you'll be in groups hopefully of about 6 or 7, needs to volunteer to take down everybody's name. And in however you take it down, that can be the order that you're going to work in. Then each person introduce yourself very briefly, your name, where you're joining from, and it could be one thing you're grateful for, which we wrote here, or it could be a positive thing that's happened to you in the last week, or anything else. Then the volunteer reminds everybody of the order of the speaking, and you start. Now, this is the important thing. This is like building a story with the exposition. The first person who starts with fortunately or unfortunately has to introduce the main character. And the character could be human, it could be an animal, it could be an object, a tree. That's up to you. And it's important, though, that you give whatever it is that the story is about, a name, an age, and what's happening, and anything else they want. So that way we have a name that we can keep referring to and we can build on it. We know where we are and what's going on. After that, the rest of these directions are fine. You're going to have 12 minutes in your breakout room. And Jen, you're going to put up a notice. Is that correct? You want to let them know?
Yes, I'll give you a time warning of your broadcast message. So
all righty. Take it away.
Okay, have fun. See you in a bit.
I thought we could do again a little bit of a debrief. Before we go there, though, I just want to give you a few thoughts. This kind of fortunately, unfortunately, also helps to build resilience because there's obstacles that have to be overcome. This work here, fortunately, unfortunately, like counsel, it stimulates focused listening because you really have to listen to the story in order to add on to it. And that's really important. It's learning to cooperate because you have to build upon something someone else started. And it can allow you, like I said, after a game like this, if you wanted, you could sit in a circle and share a story about a time when you had an obstacle that you had to overcome. What happened? Or a story about when a friend had an obstacle that they had to overcome and you were there. What happened? I mean, you can come up with all manner of ways to take this game and then deepen it if that's the direction you want to go in. And if not, I'm assuming I saw that was fun. It is fun. So if you just do the game and nothing else, that is fun. It's complete unto itself. Part of this is also introducing the 5 W's, which you need whether you're going to write a story or whether you're going to write a play or act in something. So that's why I brought up that first direction. You want to start by building the who, what, when, where, why, and everybody goes from there.
This activity I really enjoyed, but it reminded me of this book called Fortunately by Remy Charlip. And I use it with my kindergarten students for vocal pitch because I'm a music teacher, but I realized it's perfect for this because it's about Ned starting his birthday. And fortunately, he said, or come to a surprise party. And then it's colored, but when it's unfortunately, it's a black and white. So then it was raining and he couldn't get to the party. But then he found an airplane. So it's very simple for the kids. But then the airplane crashed, right? So I thought this would be a great book tie-in that you can introduce your kids with, and then they can maybe make their own story or do the group thing. So I wanted to share that with everyone.
Oh, thank you. Yes, hands, really. That's wonderful. It's so good. That's the beauty of these things, that we can definitely learn from each other. Anybody else want to add something?
Yeah, Jamie, go ahead.
Yeah, just doing the game and hearing some of the things that we're talking about today. I'm a counselor, and it was just such a great reminder of maybe some things I can adjust when we go back, because the kids, they won't be playing a lot of games with each other and they need to like re-socialize. And so just really maybe rethinking some things I can add to, so the kids can do games with each other to really reintroduce some of the socialization that they miss. So it doesn't always have to be a lesson, but they can really get it through some of the games and do a lot of things at one time very strategically that could be very fun and necessary for the kids when we return.
Thank you, Jamie. That's so true. That's part of why I put this together, was I just thought that the kids need to still play. And when we can't be together, there must be a way to still feel connected and laugh. So that is the whole biggest part of this is all about that. Thank you for bringing that up.